Yeah, I tried this whole recording thing too. It's super hard.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay. My name is Chris, and today I have an awesome guest that's going to go over his reselling business, which involves reselling electronics. Prince, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? So as you just heard Chris say, my name is Prince. I'm currently a college student. I'm a senior. I'm graduating this year. I have two classes left. And so yeah, Chris said I have an electronics store. So I started reselling on eBay officially as a full-time seller early this year. So not even 6 months ago. Before that, I would do this as a hobby and just leisure activity type thing.
So Prince, you're doing some pretty serious volume. Can you give the audience an idea of how much volume you're selling each month?
Yeah, for sure. So since early this year, I've been doing around $40,000 in sales a month, and
Gotcha.
that's mainly electronics.
So do you have an idea of what your average selling cost is?
Average selling cost right now is about $180.
$180. So pretty expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
So the margins are a bit lower, about 20-30%, but the numbers are pretty high because they're high ticket items.
So did you get started with a certain amount of money, or how did you, there's a lot of beginners that might be overwhelmed with how crazy your revenue numbers are. How did you get started?
Okay, so absolutely not. I had absolutely nothing. So last summer I started working at a job. I made a couple $1,000s, maybe like $3,000, $4,000, and I'm still in school, so I have other expenses like that. But so I use a credit card for all my inventory. So you have 30 days to pay back the money. So what I would do is buy like $5,000 in inventory, and before that month ends, I make sure that I'd be able to pay the bill. And so I just kept doing that and kept collecting that money and putting it back into the business. And everything that went in, I was able to keep compounding it. And so
That's amazing.
everything's coming back. Yeah.
And so how long you've been doing it sort of full time this year, but you're still in school. So how do you manage? So how many hours a week are you working on eBay?
So there's no set time. Obviously, with eBay, things like that, working on your own, you could do 2 hours now, 2 hours later, 2 hours, whatever you want. So I'd say probably around like 8 hours a day. I keep trying to work on something on eBay. You could always optimize listings. You keep buying more inventory, things like that. You just keep researching and innovating.
Gotcha. So I don't know if you want to give away all your secrets, but where are you getting your supply? Do you do online arbitrage? Do you go source in person?
Okay, so as I used to do this back in the I started off in Craigslist, complete Craigslist. I didn't even do eBay. I'd
Mm.
go back and forth buying items, things like that. But since I started really getting into this as a business, I started like finding out relationships, figuring out people where I can actually source a lot of inventory from. So what I did was I actually cold called like all the pawn shops, all the little electronic resale shops in this country. And I was like, hey, listen, if you have XYZ product in stock and if you want to give it to me in bulk, I'll buy for this amount and let me know. Just give me a call or email and I'll be glad to purchase it from you. And so obviously a lot of people are kind of like, nah, or like some people just don't have the inventory. But you do find some people and that's how it works out. You just build relationships. And that's how where I'm at now.
That is awesome. So you're even cold calling out of your state.
Yes.
That is awesome. Do you want to reveal where you live?
Yes, I'm from New Jersey.
New Jersey, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you being on one of the coasts, I'm in California. Are you sourcing as close as you can to New Jersey to avoid expensive shipping costs, or how are you?
I try to. The thing is like the products that I source are usually small items like GoPros like that. So the shipping cost is very low anyways.
Mm,
So I have no problem with that. And I do a lot, if you can see back there, I have like a bunch of boxes like that. I do a lot of accessories and things like that too. So they're all small items for the most part. I try not to work with huge items. I tried guitars once, massive fail for me. I couldn't try shipping. Like shipping was a problem, finding the box was a problem. So I stick to like smaller items for now.
so you're running at a volume at around 200 items per month. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then how many items in stock do you have? And how fast is your turn? Sounds like the stuff moves pretty fast.
Yeah, so the stuff moves extremely fast, and that's actually why I'm doing so well right now. I barely hold any inventory. I've been trying to work with clothing things like that. It's a little bit harder. You got to hold the inventory things like that. But with high ticket items and popular products like GoPros and accessories like that, that turns around pretty fairly well, like pretty quickly. So I'm always just buying it, selling it, and just keeps it's pretty
How,
quick.
how long would you say you sit on the inventory?
Um, I'd say no more than a week.
Wow. So
No
super,
more than a
super
week.
fast. And
Yeah,
you
super fast.
have to rely on Amazon FBA or you just straight eBay?
I'm straight eBay, and now I'm working towards going towards Amazon and Etsy, things like that.
Do you feel like you're priced towards the lower end of the items, or are you priced right in the middle of the market? Could you get more if you waited longer?
Okay, so this is what I do. This is what I like to do. In the beginning, when I don't have any sales on a product, a specific product, I keep my like price very low, very competitive, so that I can get some traction going on that product. And then once it starts hitting a lot of sales, and my product goes on the first page of eBay, and like you know what I mean, they start promoting it more. Then I start making the price more and more competitive. So that's what I do.
No, that's an awesome strategy. So you are sourcing multiples, but they're used, are you using the same listing?
So yes, they're used, but I also refurbish. Like if they have any nicks or anything like that, I refurbish it completely so it's almost a brand new
Mm.
condition. And of course, I have to go through all the technicalities of it and make sure it's all working properly and all that kind of thing. So that takes a little bit of time, but other than that, yeah, I refurbish it to like pretty much new condition.
Did you teach yourself how to refurbish?
Yeah, well, YouTube videos and all things like that, you know.
Wow, you are a hustler. I love that. So what's your testing station look like? Is it just at your desk?
Yeah, so let me show you. So I basically converted my room into just like a whole like eBay store thing. So if I turn my camera, where is it? Right. Okay, so right here, you can see that I have like a long table here, which I just kind of package and ship things and fix things and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's where I get it all done.
That's incredible because $200 items that ship first class mail or priority flat rate, right?
I usually do priority flat rate or priority bill.
And are you building a box inside a flat rate envelope, or are you using the padded?
I usually use padded, and I just really make sure that's really secure in there.
Do you have any tips for shipping electronics so they don't get broken?
Yeah, just make sure it's really use bubble wrap and make sure it's really padded because you don't want it to break and you can't do anything about it if it does break because you don't have any proof. You know what I mean? You can't do anything about it. So I'm out of like selling like 500 of these GoPros and like that. I've never had one issue. So I guess that's a little bit, you know,
That's awesome.
yeah.
And so are you are you in the videography right now a little bit, or are you just playing, you just now because I could consider yourself after selling 500 GoPros to be somewhat of an expert in handling
Okay.
the returns.
Yeah. So I've actually not used the GoPro personally in a long time. I used to use it back in the days, just for fun though, nothing crazy like snowboarding and just leisure stuff. But I haven't personally used it for like anything to record in a long time. I'm just good with like working with it and knowing all about it. So,
That's awesome. What's your procedure for testing?
so I go through a bunch of different things. So make sure all like cosmetically everything's fine all around. I go through it, make sure everything's good with it. Make sure all the ports are fine. It charges. I also make sure that there's nothing like wrong with the battery. It holds a little bit of charge. And then I go ahead and plug in the SD card and make sure it records a good video. And then I just check the video. So it sounds like a lot, but when I do that in bulk, so when I do it with like 10, 15 cameras at once, it's not that bad. It's like 30 minutes to do all of them at once.
I love it because there's so many people complaining that they don't have enough stuff in their area, and you took the initiative to find other areas that have it.
Right.
Do you have a checklist for?
Uh, so I did, like initially I did, but you know, over time, once you keep doing something over and over again, you pretty much get the gist of it, and then it's just second nature at that point.
The reason I ask is some people, right now, you're the operator. If you
Yeah.
had a checklist and you were able to source more GoPros, you may need somebody who tests for you. Has that occurred to you?
Absolutely. And as of right now, no. And for me, it's summertime right now, so I have a lot of free time to do, you know, put all my effort and energy into this. But I that's what I was gonna ask you actually, because I know you've a little bit more involved with eBay and things like that, like with hiring people and all that kind of stuff. So I was gonna ask you later on.
No worries. As far as your capacity, what is your limitation right now? Is it capital? Is it um, what do you think your bottleneck is right now? You're doing 200 a month right now.
Okay, so my bottleneck. One of my bottlenecks is my eBay status right now because I can only list right now like 500 items a month, and that's where I'm capped at. So I cap that out every single month. And you know, obviously every month it also raises unless your status goes below, which it did, which was awful. Um, but other than that, it is capital because I do max out, like I said before. Like, I just keep compounding on these things. I haven't loaned any money, I haven't got anything. I've just been working on my own. So it's capital and also making sure I'm sourcing good products. Because I've also had problems where I've sourced bad products, and that takes a big hit. So it takes away time and takes away capital. Even with getting refunds and like that, it takes a while to get all that done. So you just got to make sure that you're sourcing good products and everything.
What is your return rate?
My return rate, I probably get, I'd actually have to check, but not too many, but there are some, of course. Even if something's wrong with your order, people will still return it. And people will also try to return their old items, and so you just have to really be careful with that. But I get maybe for every 10 cameras I sell, maybe one gets returned.
Do you get any, what do you do to protect yourself from the switcheroo?
The switcheroo. So what you can do, and I wasn't doing this in the past, I actually just started about 2 months ago. There's serial numbers in each camera,
Hmm.
which you can record. So I go ahead and do that for each order now.
Do you record yourself packaging it?
No, I don't record myself packaging it.
Is that something that you would do if you're doing it bulk? Because like I've seen bulk
Yeah.
electronics, they're packaging it, put the camera up, put it in the envelope.
Right.
You know.
Well, yeah, if it's a large order, I definitely will. I don't do it for like a one sale, but recently, so I had one sale go through in Afghanistan actually. Some army people wanted it. They wanted like 6 cameras at once. So I went in and actually recorded because, doing international sales, I don't want to be liable for anything being lost or whatever. So I actually did record me packaging it and dropping it off at the center. And I recorded all the serial numbers and everything. So, but that went well. So that was good.
Amazing. So do you feel like you could do twice the volume if you didn't have the limitation of by yourself? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is what's the capacity of a one-person operation? Because right now it looks like you're doing this all solo.
Right, I am, and I'm growing every month as is right now. I haven't really reached a cap yet, but my cap will be because my sourcing. I'm getting all the inventory I possibly can. It's not like when someone asks me like, "Do you want this?" and I'm like, "No," that hasn't happened yet. So as I keep continuing to grow and build relationships and finding more people to get inventory from, that's when I'll need to really start like hiring people and things like that.
Are you diversifying products as well, or mainly just GoPros?
Now I am. So for the past month, I've been really, really researching different products and different niches that I can get into. So right now, like I don't sell GoPro. So if I was selling something, this is a really good tip for anyone listening. If I'm selling a GoPro, I'm not going to just sell the GoPro. I'm going to sell the GoPro. And let me show you. So I'm going to sell the GoPro, and then I'm going to get a bunch of accessories that'll go with the GoPro, and then I'll sell it together as a bundle package. And that way you get more exposure, more people viewing your pages and your listing and things like that. So that's what I do. That's one of my tricks. I take something and I bundle it with other accessories and I sell it like that.
That's, hmm. That definitely. So, how much does that bump up your average sale price? And do you buy also bundles, or where are you getting the accessories from?
So I've been sourcing a lot from China and things like that, like Alibaba and things like that. I've built a lot of relationships with people. They know I'm recurring, like constantly buying these products over and over again. So they built a relationship with that. And yeah, I've been getting it from them, really.
How did you get into this specific niche?
It was just something that I really liked. Like, I mean, it was a hot product, right? And it's turned around really fast. So I was like, I couldn't do iPhones and things like that because that was like it was super saturated and super competitive for me, and I just couldn't. I tried to, and it was just really, really hard. I couldn't find where to source it at a good price and make a good margin on it. So I looked at these action cameras, and I started selling one, two, three. It went fast, and I'm like, wait a minute, I could do a lot of these. And so, and then I started cold calling all these shops and things like that, see if they have any, which they did. So it worked out.
That's super creative.
Yeah.
So, what do your friends think? Are you at home packaging instead of partying? Um,
Right.
what's your day look like?
Okay, so my day, so I'm also really into fitness and like that. Like I made a YouTube channel about fitness. I haven't really carried through with it, but I'm really also into fitness and like that. My friends, they think it's cool. It's really interesting. Obviously, like business is now cool. Back in the days, it wasn't cool. Now, if you're like an entrepreneur, you're cool. So, and it's interesting. Like you have no limitations, and you have all the potential in the world. So it's a fun thing to get into, really. And yeah, everyone's kind of like, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think before, I mean, I definitely feel old, but I was in college 10 years ago and business was not as cool.
I bet. Yeah,
You-
I heard.
This is only 10 years ago. So, I mean, now
Right.
it's like there are teenagers that have $1 million eBay businesses and
Of
it's kind
course.
of
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
so
And
what's good?
I know. So I go to school for civil engineering. So it's not like, it's a pretty good field to be in. And the thing is, like, I'm not super interested in it. I'm just one of those traditional kids that do what their parents wanted them to do. So I
Hmm.
went to school. I'm getting an engineering degree. Um, that's not what I'm passionate about. Like, I'm passionate about like more things like business. So that's why I'm really, really like, as I'm young, I'm really trying to get into it and build a good foundation for myself, whether or not eBay is going to be my real thing.
No, that is very, very cool. And what are you doing to learn about Amazon?
I'm just watching videos, like things that
Okay.
you guys post all the time. So that's what I'm doing.
Videos. And you had mentioned before the call that what piques your interest about clothing? Is it the abundance of it?
It's the abundance of it and also the low cost of goods.
I see.
So you get it for really cheap. The only problem that I have with it is that you have to hold a lot of inventory and you have to
Uh,
have capital for that.
That's true. It takes a while to move.
Right. Exactly.
Um, so you're in the bucket where you may make more from your side hustle than a potential job.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, for sure.
So are you going to be, because to be honest, most of the large sellers that I know keep their job for 5 to 10 years and let that money roll into each other until their business is so big that when they leave, they didn't even skip a beat, it seems like. How do
Okay,
you feel
right.
about that?
So I've been thinking about this a lot, and especially because I'm going to be graduating soon and I should be looking for a job, right? Um, I don't know because I'm so new to this and I don't like, I know that this is a stable platform as long as you're doing the right things. But what if one day eBay were to just be like, okay, Prince, I'm going to kick you off of eBay because you've had this XYZ happened, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I don't want that to happen to me. Then I'll be like, kind of like, what do I do now? I have all this inventory and I don't have a job. I never got a job. So as of right now, I'm just going with the flow, but I do plan to get like a 9 to 5 job right now. And I keep doing this and I can also hire people, things like that.
Awesome. Wow, this is really inspirational. I love it. Um, so where do you what are you working on right now? So this is where you're at. Do you have a next tier?
Yes, absolutely. I always have a next move, always. So right now, I'm trying to do this one thing where you could follow trends, like things that emerge, like new things that happen, and you could capitalize on that. So let's say when Harambe died, right? People made shirts of Harambe. People like sold out like crazy of that. I'm not saying that's like the ethical thing to do, whatever. But there's a lot of trends that you could follow, and then if you're like one of the first few to get on that and actually push products out and then push ads against them, you could actually set out a lot of money, and you could make a lot of money. So I'm trying to follow trends and see how that works out.
Okay. Let's see here if there's any other questions that I have. So, is there anything from my audience that you think would be cool to get from? Because I'm starting to get wholesalers that are contacting me. Would you? Oh, I guess my question is: would you consider buying? Well, actually, I'll you answer that question first. Is there anything from the
Okay.
audience that you'd want people to reach out to you with?
Okay.
Supply
Um,
ideas. I'm not sure.
Okay, so I'm sure as people are watching you to make money and things like that, there's also a lot of probably people that are already in business that do wholesale, and they would be glad to give you bulk for you to resell at a slightly higher profit margin. Um, if there's anyone like that, let me know. Chris obviously is down. I'd be down as well. And also, like, what else are you guys doing? What products are you selling? Are you trying to innovate or are you trying to sell you stuff? Like, I want to know what people are doing. So that'd be interesting to know about.
Do you feel like you want to launch your own product, or do you like being on the trend? Because the trendsetters make a lot of money; they always do.
Yeah.
So your job would be trend hunting.
Right.
Taking
Exactly.
event, and you have to be at the right place at the right time. But the people who have tabs on it, they are.
Right. So this is how I think of it. I think of this right now as me building capital for what I want to do in the future. So I actually want to get into innovating and creating things. So that's my main goal out of this. Because I know once you create something, that's where the real money is, and that's
Sure.
where you can actually create passive income and things like that. So that's what I want to do.
Amazing. So do you have time for a significant other? Are you dating? Are you just hanging out? What's the?
No, so all my life I've been in a relationship. I've always since high school I've been in a relationship. But just this year I got out of one long one, and this is why I actually have a lot of time to do things like this. That's
Mm,
why I really, really got into this. Honestly, business kind of like gave me a lot of I don't know, like motivation to kind of keep doing something. You know what I mean? Like when you get out of a long, I don't know if you've ever been in one and got out of one, but when you get out of a long relationship, it's kind of like everything kind of just falls, and you're like, what do I do now? Like, do
sure.
I even want to make a lot of money? Like, is that even the point? Like, or do I just want to find another girlfriend? What do I do with life? So it's like I just took this as a like opportunity to kind of leverage that depression, if you want to call it,
Sure.
into business. So that's what I did.
Very cool. Okay, a
Yeah.
couple more questions, and then I'll be respectful of your time. One is
Awesome.
traditionally in the reselling world, well, at least from my experience, a lot of resellers are really out of shape. Their diets have gone to shit.
Right.
So what do you what kind of like habits do you have? Because you're running a reselling business and you're in good shape.
Right.
So which is rare.
Okay. Yeah. So, I know most of America is pretty, they're not in good shape. And I honestly don't know why, but I guess the people, because the people that I've been around are in pretty good shape. And that's, if you're around those kind of people all the time, you just, you don't think about other people. And I've built kind of foundation with fitness where I have this consistency. I always work out. Like, if I don't go, I'll feel really bad. I need to go. It's only an hour out of my day. It's 5 minutes away from me. So yeah, I just built that foundation where I actually like eating healthy and things like that. So it works out for me. But it took a long time, It's not like I just got up one day. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm just gonna eat like broccoli and chicken all day. It didn't work like that for me. It was a long process. Everything's a process, but once you get good at something, it's second nature to you.
So do you work out in the morning? Do you ship first? Like walk me through a day of Prince. You wake up, it's Monday morning, you have 20 orders. What happens?
So I ship every single day because I offer a 1 day shipping or same day shipping. So every day at like about 3 p.m. My post office closes at 5 p.m. here. So I ship at 3 p.m. every single time. And then I have all of the day to go to the gym whenever I want, which is also the best time to go because most people are at work or something like that. So I go in, go out, and that's it, done with it. And then I'll go around. I'll try to look for, because sometimes I like there's like yard sales like that. So if I see them, I stop by. I'm like checking it out. I'm always trying to see something new that's going on. Um, but yeah, other than that, I'm just always trying to research other products and see if I can find other things for cheap. That's what I do. And
So you,
also, sorry about that, but the thing with the eBay is like you also like people are always trying to compete with you, right? They're always undercutting you, they're selling their products for cheaper, so you have to kind of keep up with that as well. So if I have like my main products, I make sure that like I search it up myself and make sure that my product is still up there, my price is still very competitive. So you have to constantly kind of do that with products that you're selling over and over again.
amazing. So, okay, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. you're basically shipping. Uh,
Yep.
during the day you work out sometime before then.
Right.
And then since you're doing some sourcing over the phone, so sometimes the products are coming to you.
Right.
What percentage of your stuff comes to you?
I'd say about 40% of my products come from calls that people call me from.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to make this point that a lot of people think wholesale is just like you call a dude and you send him $200, then you sell it for $400 and you make $200 profit.
Mhm.
That's not how it works. Like you have to develop a relationship.
Right.
Sometimes you're buying stuff and breaking even to get that relationship set up.
Exactly.
Have you had that
Yeah,
situation?
so that's actually, I haven't mentioned this before, but yeah, that's actually kind of how I got started. Now that I think about it, I took very little profit for the things that I bought. Like, I just wanted to get it going, get some traction going, and see how this whole thing worked out. So I took like, for my time that I put in, very little profit. Like, I could have worked a minimum wage job and made a lot more money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I got the relationships built and working. So
Because people don't want to hear that.
they
I'm
don't.
telling you, when you're building the local relationships with people, like when I would, buy all this glassware that I know is not going to sell, but I know the manager is going to like me. And
Right.
then people will go to the same Goodwill and say, oh, I can't get a bulk deal.
Exactly.
And, that's how it works.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So sometimes, like, some people will have like bulk things for me to buy. Like, if I really want this phone, I should also buy this with it,
Hmm.
just so I can get it all together. And
Right.
I've done that so many times where like I've bought things I don't really need just to get the whole package deal and make the person happy and make sure we continue this relationship going.
What's your take on selling cell phones? Because they're abundant, but
hmm So I think I haven't like found the right way to source these products. Like I've tried so hard. I think it's extremely hard because you have to check so many things with it. Like this is a necessity, right? GoPros and like that, they're luxury. So these things people actually need. So they do sell a lot, but it's also a very saturated market. I've been trying to sell this iPhone 5. It's a little messed up, but for about 2 weeks now, and I haven't even priced it that high. And I think that's because obviously it's a little bit messed up, but it's just such a competitive market. Like it's hard for me to get in there when there's already so many sellers that are so good at it, and their listings are obviously have a lot more like SEO.
detail and SEO.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just very hard. But I mean, I guess if I started that way and kept building on it, maybe it would have been successful. I'm not sure.
And the reason I ask is there is an abundance of cell phones. There's a lot of things to check.
Mhm.
And pawn shops don't even take cell phones. A lot of them don't.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So I was thinking that wouldn't necessarily work at a pawn shop because people will steal a phone, trade
Right.
it in, and then someone will call and then it'll be a bad IM.
Exactly. And that's one of my
Check.
issues too. Like, what if it was a recently stolen phone and it hasn't been in the system yet and you buy it? And then you could also get in trouble with the law with that, like you have a stolen product and like, because I've seen that happen to people online. Like I've seen YouTube videos, people getting in trouble for selling stolen products, even though they didn't steal the products. So,
Um, all right. Well, where can people find you? And yeah, so where can people find you? And any last words?
yeah, so for your viewers, if you guys want to know more about eBay, I'm sure Chris is doing a great job like talking about eBay. But if you also want to know more about like promoted listings and things like that, like I'm definitely willing to talk about it. You can reach me on my Instagram. It's at Prince P underscore underscore. So I don't really have like an eBay outlet for you guys to reach me at, but that's my personal page. But that's fine. You can follow me there. You can message me there, and I'll be more than glad to help you.
Perfect. And guys, I'm going to share, well, I mean, we're not going to share Prince's eBay store because we're not trying to create competition for him. I know we had the clutch swag on a couple of weeks ago and we kind of created some unnecessary competition for him. But if you guys want to email me or message us, we'll give you a little bit more information, but we're not going to show you like exactly how to do it. You're going to have to do the work yourself, unfortunately. But thanks everybody for stopping by and I'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.